everyone. This is episode 100 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is OSG, Germán, and back for the first time in a while, Tony. How's it going, yo?
What up, what up? I've got Germán with me. Austin, downtown in the background here. Moving family around in Austin, so we decided to meet up and have a little fun and get this little background because it's a nice background. It's chill in the park, so, just chilling. Chill weekend, good win. I'm liking the weekend.
3 points are good. Happy to be here with y'all. Welcome, Tony.
What up, Tony?
I appreciate y'all having me back on the pod, man. It's a little late morning for me. It's already noon, but just having my coffee and happy to be here.
Having my Celsius right here.
Nice.
And my last sponsored episode, Celsius. And,
I figured OSG and Germán were already there for the Venezuela game happening tonight, and I'm also going, but I figured that OSG was just there to help Germán, which is nice. And of course, Tony here as well. We just invited him over because this is the 100th episode, and as you guys remember, or if you guys have been with us since the start, Tony and I did about 23 episodes of Noodle Time before we went on hiatus, and that's where OSG and I picked it up along with Germán and the team that we have right now. And I don't know, it's just special because, of course, the 100th episode, and we've been going this for about 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years, with the episodes that I did with Tony. And it's special. Like, we've already been going strong, pretty much uploading since the start of every season, every week, or at least once or twice. And it's been an incredible ride. So we just wanted to make this as a special one. And of course, thank you guys for sticking it along with the ride, because it's been insane, an insane couple of years. At Open Cup, man, a pretty good team that's been assembled, and I couldn't ask for more right now.
yeah, man, 100 episodes. We've been having fun since we picked up with you in the Foxtrot era, and everything that we've been doing left and right has been a blast. But Tony, man, bring back some history, man. You got some insight about Foxtrot. Do you have a blur moment that we need to talk about that never made it to the airs?
Hey, man, Andres made me sign an NDA, so I can't really talk.
We figured.
Andres is smart, man. Andres is smart, dude.
We'll get our lawyers on that. Free your speech. Free your speech.
Yeah, give it all the cards. Yeah, just playing my cards. No, but yeah, it's been a pretty good couple of years, but for now we can probably just talk about what's been going on this week. And for me, it's been an insane week, particularly because of Copa America and Dynamo and Dash going on still. And like I said earlier, I'm going to the Venezuela game in Austin tonight, and I've been feeling unreal for the past the entire week. That it's actually happening in my backyard, and pretty much a stadium that I've been going for Dynamo games for a couple of years now. It's insane, and just looking forward to it. Dynamo and Dash just this weekend, good and bad, and we can just probably get into that later. But how have you guys been doing?
Yeah, man, just chilling. Like you said, watching Euros, watching Copa. Dynamo and Dash over the weekend. Other than that, just chilling. I haven't been able to work much because people took over our computers, so we can't work at work. So looks like we'll get it back on Monday, and I'll get to kick butt again. But just chilling, watching soccer on TV all the time, man. You know how it is. You know how I do it on the weekends.
That's God telling you to take a week off, man.
That's why I went to DC and get my vacation in.
Alrighty, but yeah, how have you been up to, Tony?
Nah, man, just been kicking it back, like OG said, watching the Euros, watching Copa America, MLS. My wife's started to ask me when we're finally gonna be able to watch Netflix again instead of having soccer on the TV. But the summer will come to an end eventually. But
wait, just to find out soccer is year round.
Yeah, we don't gotta talk about that. But other than that, just been working, hanging out, and having a good time. So
No, yeah, the grind of like back-to-back games because of the Euros and Copa America has been insane, and I've been pretty much in that position in some weekends. But yeah, a lot of time spent just watching soccer specifically, and it's not gonna be like this after the next couple months. So we just gotta enjoy it. But for now, we can probably just get into the talk for this week, particularly the dash to start. I wish we could skip it, only because that was a pretty bad game for the dash, particularly in the second half. The first half was pretty decent, but man, we just got toasted.
Pretty decent. It depends on how you look at it, man. I mean, we were. What happened is exactly what we expected. We were going to get our butts kicked, and Kansas City brought the onslaught. Credit to the Dash defense to create enough, to get in the way enough, and to where KC couldn't take those easy shots and put Jane Campbell had to make a couple good saves again, of course. Who else? But that's part of the game plan, is make sure Jane Campbell gets some superhero saves. But Tarsian and Jacobs and Nielsen were doing a great job in the first half, even though they were under so much pressure. And I think it was 18 shots by halftime. They just did enough to get in the way and prevent them from scoring. So it was like, it was hopeful. Now, still, where's the attack going to come from? Because that didn't exist whatsoever in the entire game. So got to figure that part out, or change the formation up, or do something different, because this 3-5-2 or 3-5-1-1 or whatever you want to call it. It's the girls are still struggling, and we're going scoreless. But hey, they put up a fight in that first half. I give them credit for that. Positives still came out of this game.
No, yeah, most of those positives came in the first half because, at least as far as I've seen, I was expecting the Dash to take a beating offensively, and defensively they kind of just were able to stave off the current for pretty much at the first 45 minutes, and you could say the start of the second half, before pretty much everything just went to the trash. But yeah, like even the first half, it just seemed like Jane Campbell was going to carry this team again to a result, which is what this team needed, considering that they only got like 2 wins since April, and they've been pretty much just going down from the standings in NWSL, which definitely sucks. But the second half by itself was just disgusting because they just fell off, and that was probably the worst game like I've seen from Tarsiana. And granted, she just came over and she has been doing pretty good up to this point, because Chawinga just came over and pretty much I just started bullying the Dash offensively, and she just kept outpacing everyone, like not just Tarsiana but also Schmidt in a few occasions, particularly from the goals that came over, and it wasn't ideal at all.
No, not at all. That was just, man, the way the game played out and what was going on. It's I expected more, because you had Alozi on the left, Patterson on the right, you had Ordonez and Bachman playing up top. Of course, Schmidt and Buttengam in the middle. I think you were missing Barb this game that ended up making a difference to start this game, and so I was expecting a little more creativity from the team coming out and finding some offense and some countering. We know what KC's got attacking wise, but they could be vulnerable defensively. They score so much, but they don't defend as well. And it was hopeful, but at the same time, we could not generate anything on the offensive side of the friggin' ball, and that's what was just so disappointing, and kept the defense under so much pressure that entire time. We couldn't get out of Casey's press, for one, and then two, you're turning around and you're defending right after you just defended so well. Back to back. And then Tarsian, I think her brain just fell asleep, and she made two easy mistakes, and you're kind of wondering like what she was doing. She that wall that she dove down, that she meant to dive to Campbell, and she was on her knees heading the ball, and she headed it straight down to herself. And come on, and then that girl with speed, with man thighs, like. No, ain't nobody catching her. Nobody was catching her that entire game. They tried slowing her down. They did well, but she ended up breaking open and getting those 2 goals in against us. And it was just she was so dangerous the whole game. But, when you're being pressured on defense like that much, what do you do? It's gonna break open. I'm surprised the score was only 2-0.
Yeah, no, ever since Tarsiani came to the Dash, the backline has been more solidified, and I was actually looking forward to see how this would go. But like you mentioned, OSG, it's insane. It's like bombardment, Bart Simpson episode on the Simpson bombardment, you know, and eventually you're gonna break. You can't contain that. It's insane. I thought we were when she kicked it into the water.
Oh yeah, the big highlight of the match is the river ball, making history.
Yeah.
The first ever ball to leave the actual stadium and land in that ugly river. You know, so I hope nobody had to get in the water to actually save the ball. I saw they got it out, but hopefully nobody had to get in the water. They say sometimes there's usually boats back there hanging out and chilling, like Maccoby Cove, but they're tired of waiting for a ball to come over. And finally, halfway through the season, a ball went over. There was nobody there to get it, but I think it just went up against the bank and they got it back. So that was the highlight of the first half, or at least someone scored.
And then the highlight of the second, there's not many highlights, but the record from Jane Campbell. We got to talk about that. I know y'all don't like it, but it's our job to report it.
It is a record, 500 saves in the history of, you know, Jane Campbell. And I mean, what does that say? But she's been a long tenure with the team at the same time. She's been here a while. So 500 saves. I mean, someone goes, well, that just shows that we're stuck playing defense a lot. I mean, it's not 500 saves this year. It's like her career. So take it easy. Yeah, it's her career, and she hasn't been on the team for 2 years. So yeah, some people made more of a big deal than they should about it.
No, yeah, and for me, like that specific record, it just reads like a double-edged sword, and I don't want to really like downgrade her achievement, but it just kind of goes to show her contributions to the team and pretty much like all the results that Dash have been able to earn just because of her. Really, like it's just incredible the fact that she's been with us since 2017 and pretty much pulling the strings for Dash for a very long time. And just credit for her for obviously just resigning with the Dash for the next few years, just to make more saves and pull out the Dash from difficult situations, which is going to be great. But at the same time, it's kind of something you have to consider just for the future, because the Dash just need to keep improving. Obviously, get out of this result and try to adjust for the next game, because they still got a lot of questions to answer.
And it's too bad that Jane Campbell couldn't get to the bench in Paris. She's going to be an alternate, and she's going to have to wait and see. And she's going to be with the team and with the USA team, the entire team, and probably not even get to see the field. And which means we'll get to see what our backups are like. And I don't know if it's going to be Heather Hines, who has been hurt, or if it's going to be Kennedy, who we just signed. So be interesting to see what goes on there for that month that she's going to be gone. Sorry, Tony, I cut you off there. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I'm sure you guys have already spoken about this before, but with Jane Campbell's re-signing, I almost wonder if NWSL salaries are public, because they must be paying her the whole Brinks truck to keep her in Houston with the current state of the team and everything. So,
hey, she's happy here. She loves being here. She's married. She just recently married. I believe it was last year. She loves what she has here, and probably that had a lot to do with her decision for signing for 4 more years. And she has everything that she needs, and the Dash give her everything that she wants. And she's the captain of the team. She's Hector Herrera for the Dynamo. She gets to do what she wants, and she's not, and she doesn't take advantage of it. She is a true captain to the team, and she's a part of this team and part of Houston, and belongs to part of this culture. So I'm glad she made that decision, and that does say a lot about your character with the team that's been in the bottom of the dweller for so long, for your entire career as a Dash player too. Made one playoff game, and you want to sign and stay even longer? That's your career.
Yeah, but that adds to Tony's point. I think Tony brings up a good point. I don't know the number, but it'd be good to find it out, because you don't sign for 1 year. She didn't just sign for 1 year. She signed for 4. So that's a fat check, dude. It's got to be.
Could be. We'll have to see if we can find out.
Here for 1 playoff game.
Hey, Theo, if you're listening, just reply back on the in the comments and let us know what the salary is for her, please. Thank you.
And I'm just really looking forward to the schedule for Dash. It's not gonna get easy from here, because we do play Chicago Red Stars on the road next Saturday, and after that at noon, and right after that we're gonna go to the Olympic break, and just to later start the Summer Cup, the cup between NWSL and Liga MX. And our first game is gonna be against Kansas City again, and there's gonna have to be adjustments done, just to see what's gonna be different from the result against Kansas City, because we just played one of the best teams in the league, and we're about to play Liga MX teams, particularly Tigres, which are also pretty good in Liga MX. So, man, like it's gonna be tough. Like I know, but we gotta see something.
Hey, and let's do mention this one was without Fran Alonso, who was sick. Ricky Clark took over. So you were wondering if you're going to see anything different because they do have, the coach ain't there to tell you, hey, no, that's the wrong decision or whatever. He didn't do anything different. He stuck to the game plan, and of course, his game plan is Fran's game plan, and Fran's game plan is his game plan. So it's not like I didn't expect much change. Hopefully, a tactical adjustment to try to generate more offense or something from Ricky Clark. But who knows? Fran, I'm sure, will be back for the next game.
Yeah, that's what he told us the day before the match. Hey, I work with Fran and the team works together. The game plan's not going to change. It's going to be our game plan. Yeah. He told us that the night before the match. I am interested, and I talked to OSG offline. I try to keep it optimistic, but OSG brings me back to earth. The Dash still have not scored. So that's going to be that's what, yes, we want to see results as fans, but really what I would love to see is, okay, more attacking or successful creating opportunities in the final third that lead to dangerous chances. That's what I want to see.
What can we do to make this difference? Because it's not like new players are coming in here in the fold. Everybody's there now.
Right.
So now how can we generate some offense and some team camaraderie right there to generate? You see the plan trying to work out, but it just doesn't work out. They're always missing that last pass, or that next pass, I should say, not the last pass. They're always missing that next pass.
Yeah,
they got to get past that part as well. So it's a struggle. I'm sure they're working on it desperately, and it'll come around. But it was a good sign they hung in there for the most part against Kansas City, and they battled as much as they could. It was a sellout for 12,000 fans. They screaming loud and proud, and it was I'm okay with the way the Dash performed in that game. But like you said, we've got to continue to see improvement. And now it needs to be on the attacking half. The defense is solid.
The defense is solidified.
Yeah. Defense is solid. But we'll see. We move, like you said, Saturday at noon against Chicago. Well, hook 'em horns to that Aggie girl that's on the team over there. Hopefully she'll get to start. We get to see her play against us, but not do any damage to us.
But yeah, go Dash, and come on, we need something. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of not scoring goals. Come on, y'all. But yeah, that was the Dash, and let's get to the fun stuff. Let's talk about Dynamo. No, yeah, this game though. Like, I was watching this game with friends, and obviously didn't have like a lot of goals, but I was entertained. I'm definitely biased though, because I'm a big fan. But yeah, 1-0 over Charlotte. First win ever against them, finally, after 3 games. And yeah, I was expecting more in terms of offensive play. Granted, we don't really have our record offensively has not been great, but for the most part, got the job done. And I just want to hear what you guys have to say first, since you guys were there.
Well, Tony is our special guest of the show.
Yes.
And welcome back, Tony. It's been a long time since we've actually seen you live. We talked about this at the beginning.
Missed that smile.
Yeah, bro. We need you to pop back in a little bit more. But I'm interested to hear what Tony's thoughts of the game was first.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I thought it was what we needed at home. Obviously, like Andres said, not the firepower maybe we all hope for. But, man, you can't ask for more than a shutout at home. Man, it was hot as hell, hell in the shell. But as you can see from all the players collapsing at the end. But I'd say the first half was amazing. Just what you wanted to see. Sebas was super involved. We were creating chances left and right. Man, Aliu's goal was just a thing of beauty. That little chip from Sebas to him in the finish. Obviously, the second half a lot riskier with playing out the back with Charlotte's press. But hey, listen to Ben's press conference afterwards, and he was getting a little mad at some of the reporters for questioning his tactics in the second half. He said, other teams are going to create chances in this league, and they're just there to hold off sometimes. And just because we weren't creating chances doesn't mean it wasn't part of the plan. So I was super happy with the shutout and the win, and I know the goals will keep coming.
Well, it was a nice start to the game. Dynamo were dominating possession, control of the game. We tried to, but I talked to a pod from Charlotte, and he kind of told us how Charlotte was going to play, and that didn't come to fruition until later into the second half. And the first half, Dynamo had control, had pretty much dominance, was preventing Charlotte from advancing anywhere. Adebayo, or whatever his name is on the forward for Charlotte, was kind of taken out of the game by Mikhail and Shevchenko, just intercepting the balls, not letting him get involved in the game. I don't think he had a shot for most of the first half. But, man, to only get the one goal in the first half, which was a beaut set up by Bassi to Sebas, who Aliyu finally takes a great touch and scores the goal when the keeper was right there. And, I guess we froze time and the keeper didn't move, so that's how it got past it. That's how it got past, and Aliyu got the goal. But yeah, Aliyu scored, so I'm not gonna complain. It was a beaut, like Tony said, and the build-up, man, was a beaut. So, but wish we could have done more in that first half right there.
Oh yeah,
I think Tony summarized it very well. Go ahead, Fox.
Hey,
Arriba Venezuela.
Just no.
Yeah, we found some Venezuelan fans in the park. Give them a shout out, Copa America.
Yeah, they're everywhere right now.
No, I think Tony summarized it very well. Yeah, he summarized it very well, and it's funny. I wish I would have been at that press conference, but first half is what you wanted to see. First of all, I was ready to tweet the Joe Biden picture if Sebas didn't start. I was ready, dude. I was ready. Okay, I wanted to see another Sebas start.
Same here.
Happy that he got that little chip, kind of create something out of nothing inside the box. Happy that Aliyu took it, kind of first time almost. And I don't care how it goes in, it went in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the message that I have for our listeners, because I went on social media last night and saw the reaction that Tony was talking about. When we play beautiful, we don't win. And then we're whining and complaining. And then we finally grinded one out and we got 3 points at home and we're still upset. Like, come on, guys. 3 points are 3 points. And then it's fourth in the East. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Ben Olsen for once. There's some games you got to grind out, dude.
Yep.
And that's what we were doing last year. That's what led to some points last year. That's what led to some success last year.
Everybody thought that we were parking the bus in a 1-0 game against a threatening Charlotte team a little too early.
Yeah.
It was the complaint last night, and that probably what brought the questions up in the press conference. So why'd you do it so early? And granted, he made some subs and put some more energy on the field. He took Hector Herrera out, which was a surprise to me. I'm glad he did it, and I was for it. So, but dude was tired. But it's had to make somebody. I think he just did a little too early, and that's what raised the question.
So my question to y'all, for discussion, was it we were tired because of the sun, the heat, because that could be the same for Charlotte, or was it more tactics in the second half from Charlotte's end that kind of changed the course of this game in the second half? That I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Yeah, it was probably a mix of both, wasn't it? Fatigue and then Charlotte just pushing the attack more, and we weren't able to counter correctly. I think had a lot to do with it. I don't know. What do y'all think, Fox? Tony?
No, for sure. It was a combination of both. And Tony mentioned it earlier. That you could just tell right away that it was exhaustion played a factor in the game, just because after the final whistle blew, the players just went on the ground, fell on the ground of exhaustion. And really, I'll definitely say that probably after the 50 or 60 minute mark, things definitely changed, and Charlotte had to make adjustments, and so did we. And the one thing that I was somewhat comfortable was the fact that Houston was possessing the ball well. And the thing that was really bothering me at the same time was the thing that has been killing us this year, which has been just those mistakes that costed us a goal or two against us, to just try and get back in the game. And thankfully it didn't happen this time around, but I was under the impression that for one mistake or just being at the wrong, caught flat-footed again, or just having to deal with exhaustion was going to cost us eventually.
Hey, we tried to give it away there towards the end. Subs were made, but none of them were defensive subs. Sometimes Ben likes to bring in Bartlow and put him in the middle with the other two, or take one of them out. And that's a move I've been enjoying, with taking Eric out and putting Bartlow in, and just solidifying those last 10 minutes with the energy, because they're basically the same player. Mm-hmm. Granted, Eric's a little more experienced, but at that time, Eric's tired. So But whatever. Hey, you won the game, clean sheet against a team that leads the league in clean sheets. Back at home, a win in front of everybody. Wasn't pretty in the second half, but like you said, 3 points are 3 points. You move up to fifth in the standing. You've got two big teams coming and going to RSL and then LAFC coming back at home. So needed that 3 points, and and in the end, it looked nice overall. It looked positive overall. So really can't complain in the end.
Yeah, no, Tony, your thoughts? Yeah.
No, I just wanted to add, like, obviously, looking forward, we have, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit further, but we'll have RSL and LAFC coming up, and man, I would almost just give the guys, like a break almost if I was the coach this week, just let them recover and just hit the game again on Wednesday because, man, they're going to be exhausted. They're going to go to altitude in RSL at Salt Lake and then come back to Houston on Saturday again and play the best team in the league. So this week has the chance to be one of the worst or one of the best. So I would be happy if we just land somewhere in the middle and, take some points away from what could be disastrous, and try not to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's a good point too. Mm-hmm.
No, you said
three games last week. 3 games last week, and then this weekend. So I think it's a good idea what Tony's bringing up.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, the team is off today on Sunday as we're recording. They'll have practice Monday morning. They'll have practice Tuesday morning, and Tuesday will be actually, I don't know if Tuesday will be a fly day, so they get to stay in the hotel. Wednesday they'll do a walk around in the game. Thursday will be an off day, and then they practice on Friday. So they're only getting 1 practice before LAFC. So yeah, it's and everybody's on the same schedule this week. Most of the teams all but one plays a game on Wednesday.
Gotta get them therapists, dude. They gotta earn that money this week, baby.
Them ice baths
better massage that
thigh
harder, man.
I mean, you saw Hector in his little video he was doing where he looked like he was doing some calisthenics. He looks a little rugged right there. So
it's a nice house, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, bro. But it's gonna be a tough road. Tough games coming up. Two powerhouses, and then the game after LAFC. I forgot who Andres said it was, but it's another a struggle game. Home against whoever it was, but whatever. Minnesota, that's right. And Minnesota always plays us tough, and we always struggle against them. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be a tough stretch, and then Leagues Cup will eventually show up. And Ponce was at the game last night playing with the FIFA controller in one of the suites. He's ready to get into training, and so we're 17 days away. Well, I guess 19 days away, 20 days away technically, because he can't play till the 20th until his debut. Yeah. Looking forward to it. I hope Sebas can continue to have good games.
Oh yeah, and just going back to the schedule, like it's just insane as you guys mentioned, because we're playing the best teams in the Western Conference this week, and it could just be make or break for the team, and recovery is going to play a factor. So I'm definitely not complaining if they take breaks, because it's going to be 2 insane games that can definitely define a season, especially the road game against RSL. That one's going to say a lot. And yeah, and just following up on that against Minnesota, it's going to be an intense game as well. Like, even though we slightly we barely took a win out of Minnesota, I think it's going to be a big game as well.
I just wanted to point out as well, I don't know if you heard Ben's comment in the press conference, OSG, but Ben said that Ache asked to get subbed off for the first time in his tenure at the Dynamo. Nice. That Ben was surprised, but he was happy. Hector, finally knew when to listen to his body. So, you could take that as a bad thing, but I'll take it as a good thing that Ache, we know he's getting older. He needs to take care of himself. So, I just wanted to point out. I'm so happy with. We've been talking about every week, but I'm so happy with Brooklyn Reigns' his confidence and his aura that he brings to the field every time he comes on, even though it's some short cameos at the end of the games. But he just oozes confidence. You don't think he's going to lose the ball or make a mistake. He's made mistakes. He will make mistakes in the future again, but I'm really excited to start see him get more playing time, and Ben really emphasized that in the press conference, that some people are impatient with Brooklyn's development, but he said, it's not going to be an overnight thing, and Brooklyn's really coming into his own. So I think we really need to highlight Brooklyn and his development, and it's only going to go up from here.
And Ben also said with Brooklyn that he realizes that he needs to give him more playing time, that he sees what he is doing and how he's playing with the team in practice. So he admitted, like, hey, I need to give this kid time. He's, and it's working out. He's not making the mistakes that you saw him make, a year or two ago, and with Dose. So he's looking good. He's fitting in well. He's bringing a lot of energy. He is small stature, but that's okay. But if you're going to be a defensive juggernaut in that position, so we'll see how he can continue to form and he'll P-form, and hopefully he gets some more time. Like you said, Ben will keep playing him.
And I got another question for y'all three. I know OSG hates this, but it's part of the job as well. And this is a reporter with pedigree. Fernando Palomo with ESPN Deportes reports that FC Porto is interested in Coco. We're not going to talk about that. My question is, yesterday we saw the midfield that will start once Coco leaves, if he were to leave. What did y'all think of that performance? Are you good with that starting three going forward?
I mean, absolutely. It's the expected starting three. We expected Blessing to come in with Coco missing. So it's exactly what we expected, and it looks like it's playing well. Blessing didn't have quite the game that we wanted to have out of him that he's been having. So, but you can't complain. It's the lineup, and that's the way it's going to be. The only question is, still that striker position. Is Sebas going to play it? What's going to happen when Ponce comes in? So I'm okay with Coco per se leaving or not leaving, whatever, but Blessing covering him while he is gone. I'm fine with that 100%. And it's allowing Reigns to get some more time too, because there's one less person that has to come off the bench.
Exactly.
No, yeah, and I'm definitely okay with this lineup. I feel like Latif Blessing is definitely a piece that just is placed in correctly and has been having success. We've already seen him score off the bench, and I'm definitely okay with him starting more often with Coco gone. And long term, the same thing. I'm also thinking of the same situation when it comes to Brooklyn Reigns. He's gonna be provided more opportunities to play, and it's almost gonna be Brooklyn time before you know it.
Tony, that question was for you too, so we're curious about your answer here as well.
I think we're all in the same boat here for the most part. You see the group chats, Twitter, everything. We all love Coco. He makes the team better, but it's almost like the team is evolving past him, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just I think it's the perfect time for us to give Coco his send off, whether that's to Brazil, to Europe, Mexico, wherever. We need to make the sale so we can show players that we bring in that, hey, we can move you on to where you want to be, and it incentivizes players to come here and want to make that future move, but also we can reinvest that Coco money maybe into a U22 winger, a DP winger, something else that kind of fits more of the style of where the team is going in the future. So, Coco, we love you, but we want to see you succeed in Europe as well, and we want the team to keep evolving, because going back to a comment that Ben has made before, I don't know if it was Pat or Ben, they kind of admitted they didn't make enough moves in the off season. That's just in terms of kind of bringing more fire. You bring in new players, they want to win positions. They're not all buddy with everyone, and you kind of have to do that every off season to freshen things up. So I think it's time that we see some new faces and step the level up a little bit more.
Now, at the same time, with the summer window is coming up, there's still, accordingly, has not been an official offer to the team. And at the same time, Glenn Davis last night during the game said that his sources had told him that this is a false rumor as well. So when Germán says, I hate talking about it, I only hate it because it's a continuous rumor and over and over and over again. It does bring up topics like we are talking about right now, who would replace Coco at this point in time. So it is good conversation. But Glenn says the rumor's not true, so who knows? But at some point, Coco is going to go. It's. I think it's everybody's seeing the light. It's inevitable. So, but I think everybody's also on the same page. We got Blessing to cover. Who's next? Get that DP winger you're talking about. They want to get an attacking right back to cover for Dorsey. So they're still thinking attacking and still got places to go. We still have a U22 to cover for Quinones while he's out this season if we want to use that one as well. So depends on what the team wants to do. They have options. We're expecting 1 or 2 more players. Astor just said it a couple weeks ago. And it said 2 or 3, but Ponce is obviously one of them. So there could be another 2 or another 1 coming in. And then he mentioned 1 or 2 players going out. So I asked that to y'all too, because I was very curious. Who could Asher be talking about that's leaving? Everybody wants to say Sebas. That's the easy answer, but I don't think that's going to happen this summer. That won't happen until the winter. So who could possibly be leaving and open slots up for people coming in this window as well? Anybody jump in there.
Yeah, it's tricky. Well, just going back to Coco, because I feel like he's probably the most likely to leave if they want to get some return, because his contract expires next year, and the time to make a return for him is going to be now, unless he signs an extension. But yeah, all the rumors about Coco, like, I'm not going to believe anything at this point until like either Tom Bogert or someone else reliable reports it, because it's been like 6 rumors already, like someone interested, but apparently not putting a fee for him yet. So it's kind of like, what's going on, man? But I feel like if Sebas is not leaving the soonest, I definitely think it's Coco, just to make a return as soon as possible. And Sebas, like, his situation is interesting now, because as soon as the club has announced Ezequiel Ponce, he's been pretty much putting in goal contributions like for the past 2 games. So it's insane. So I think it's Coco.
No, yeah.
Tony?
I mean, we have the never-ending saga with Franco Escobar.
Yeah.
Kind of not really. I don't know. I think Franco, I think he's probably settled down. I'm not sure if we'll see him after this season. Another thing that's been on my mind that probably shouldn't be so early on is the upcoming expansion draft this offseason with San Diego coming in. I'm starting to get scared of that, because I know we can only protect 11 players, and it's a conversation for another day. But I just feel like we're gonna end up losing some quality that we don't want to this offseason. And we know Escobar wants to go to Miami. Maybe he wants to go somewhere more luxurious. But I think Coco, Franco. I mean, Gregus. I don't know who the hell would want to take Gregus right now, but he's not. He's surplus goods. I just wanted to bring up also, there was a rumor that Coco had involved a new agent now in his process. I don't remember where I saw that, but I think it did have some truth to it. He had signed with I don't remember if it was Wasserman or Stellar in Europe. So let's hope his agents are going around offering him around to every team possible. And then once we actually get, a serious interest, the Dynamo need to play ball. And I think it's pivotal. It's pivotal the Dynamo move him off this offseason, because things can get stale and things could sour as well if you don't move on from move a player on that you promised that you would. So,
and then to add on to that, my opinion, aside from the famous 2, Coco and Sebas, I don't know this, so I'm just shooting from the hip. I don't know when Eric Biancheco's contract is up, but next year, we're talking about next year, Bartholow can step into that role.
We were talking about right now.
Right now, okay.
Astor spoke about bringing 2 to 3 in and getting rid of 1
right
to
now,
2. So you have to remove somebody to bring.
Right now would
in.
be one of the CDMs. We have a lot of
the ones that we just brought in.
Gregus, yeah, seriously. And then the Ecuadorian dude that hasn't seen a minute.
Valverde, yeah.
So
playing for Dos.
That'd be the natural.
What we bring him in for?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Well, but Tony, I got a question for you, man. This is a personal, kind of like curiosity. How the hell do you keep up with Dynamo news, man? There's a Dynamo rumor, bro. You're on it, bro.
Can I get your job?
It's impressive. So give the people your Twitter so they can follow you, man. Like, it's a good follow. Yeah, it's fantastic.
For sure, 100.
I'm like, this dude has to have a freaking bot, like, you're on that ass, dude. I love it.
I wish I did, bro. I don't know. It's just I'm sick in the head, I guess I like to say, but now my Twitter's Rubio Soccer 35. No, man, it's just try to keep up with all the latest news, and it's just fun. It's kind of a thrill sometimes to find that rumor. It equals sometimes the winning. It feels like the same as winning when I find that first rumor. I love seeing the frenzy from everybody, but Look, man, I don't have any sources. I've said this before. I'm just a Twitter merchant. I just find the rumors and share them. So
I think we're all in the same boat. It's just you find it as soon as it drops, baby.
You are the source.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, come on, the Aliyu find. Come on, Pat doesn't tell nobody nothing. You go and find it, and so they had to announce that one. So
you know what?
Keep it going. Eh?
One thing I will say, sometimes like when Glenn's saying his sources tell him no or whatever, obviously I trust Glenn more than anything, but you know he's got a connection to the front office, and you know I've heard it firsthand from people that have talked to Pat that you know I think he kind of, I don't want to say lies, but you know he tells some white lies sometimes between his teeth, even when things might be developing. And hey, I don't blame him. It's your job as a GM to keep things under wrap. So you know you never know what happens till it comes true.
Yeah, and it's a good test as a GM. You know, if I was in those shoes, I would tell a white lie and see if it spreads out, you know. See who I can trust and who I can't. Yeah.
You make a good point where Glenn, he'll tell you a white lie or whatever, just to keep the fans calm and everything. Because like we already know, we're going to find out from the agent, from the player, the team he's coming from, or the team he's going to before the Dynamo even mention it and say a word about it. So we're lucky if we ever found out anything, any information. And you know, sometimes I try to let that be known. You know, we really don't. We have to do the work. Then we get to find out about it later from someone else and verify that the work that Tony just did was validated and correct. And so it's a struggle, but when we're having fun doing it, and then you know, following you got Jake from Dynamo Faithful over there researching right behind off of what you started. So it's a
teamwork.
Yeah, it's an enchilada team
collaboration.
Yeah. Last point I was going to bring up about possible departures. I don't think there's any way in hell the Dynamo would let this player go without having there be a significant transfer fee. But I think Ethan Bartlow, obviously we're blessed with having him as a third string center back in this league. I think he could start, you know, at 80% of the teams in MLS.
Sure, dude.
He would command a really high fee within the league. But you know, there's teams out there that are struggling. For a domestic center back, you gotta take into account as well. He's domestic, that fits better into the squad structure, and we're just lucky to have him. And man, if another team pulls up with, you know, a million in GAM or something, then I wouldn't be too surprised. But
give me $650 in an international spot, and we're good.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. What Tony's bringing up, it's the mentality, right? Because you look at Ethan Bartlow, he's not worth that much, but wait, it's what he signifies, a domestic roster spot.
His
you know,
goes up.
Exactly.
And at the same time, though, you have Mikel who had some rumors to Europe. He just mentioned Eric might need a place to go next season. So I don't know. Bartlow could be a piece that could stick around, who just re-signed as well, who's got a good contract. So I don't know, but you're right. If the right offer comes in, then you let him go.
You don't turn that down.
You got Abadasu on Dose, who's doing pretty well. He could be somebody that could be moved up eventually. So it's a curious thing to look at, something to dive into as well.
Oh yeah, and just a lot to consider for the transfer window coming up, and it might just be insane because we've been here a few times already that they're looking into adding one more option other than Ponce. So the sky's the limit essentially, especially with this front office.
Now I have a question for you, Tony, and then we can go around the roundtable here to Andres and back to Germán. But the question that's been going on in Hinchada since Sebas has returned back to the starting lineup, with Ponce returning and Ponce being declared the starter. So when he gets his chance, he's going to be the starter. Now, what do y'all do with Sebas? Do you put him on the field at the same time? Does he have to come off the bench and relieve Ponce? And it's obviously listening to Ben too at the same time, where Ben's saying it's not going to happen. They're both not going to be on the field. But as a fan, Tony, how could you see this working? What would you do? What would you do with Sebas when Ponce returns? If Sebas continues to play well for the next, I think it's 4 games before Ponce actually gets a chance to start.
No, I mean, I think we all know Ben and his staff and how they work. And I think there's no chance in hell, Ben moves to a 4-4-2 or something like that. I mean, if Sebas keeps doing what he's doing and Ponce comes in, I mean, Sebas will either find his way on the field somehow, or there's nothing wrong with Sebas coming in as a super sub. So I don't really see it as a negative. Sebas isn't going to give up just because Ponce gets here. So worst comes to worst, Sebas is a super sub, or best case scenario, Sebas finds himself on the field somewhere. So I don't really want to get into the tactics or anything, because I feel like I don't know if I'm up to par on how I would utilize him like that. But that's just, I don't know. I just take it as from a simple point of view. If Sebas keeps putting the ball in the back of the net or assisting, we know Ben is really rigid, but he's also not stupid. So he'll either find his way to the field, or he'll get some good sub minutes.
Well, yeah,
it makes it an interesting topic. How about you, Andres?
As for me, like it's pretty much what Tony has been thinking. Like at this point, assuming Ponce is pretty much just gonna start, and the most reasonable scenario I see him fit in after he comes in, or after Ponce comes in, is for Sebas to come in as a super sub, and the current form that he has makes it interesting, because now we know that he can get more involved now, and it's definitely a good problem to have, because we can now rely on Sebas to just come over and affect the game, like right from the bat, and it's a good problem to have. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I think we all agree. We know Ben, but as a fan, you asked as a fan.
As a fan, yes.
I still have the last little bit of faith that Tony said. He's not stupid. He's not stupid. He has playmaker. He has talent on the field, and I feel that if you want to be a good coach, you got to find a way to make your best 11 on the field work, and ignore, my system is this. No, leave that to the side. Find a way to put your best 11 out there and make it work.
Very possible. I also say, hey, you could play Ponce behind Sebas. You can move Bassi out to the wing where Aliyu plays, but you're taking away the stretch that Aliyu brings at the same time. So, they don't want to take, Ben's not going to take Bassi off the field. So who comes off? So now Blessing's going to have to come back off to make room for this and for it to work that way. So, like you all said, it's a good thing for Ben to have options, to have depth, to have pieces. Now he can do as he wish. Sebas could be the Wednesday starter, and Ponce could be the Saturday starter, because we're going to have a bunch of those back-to-back games coming up as well. So it's very nice to play with. I'm not worried about selling Sebas right now. Wait until the offseason and decide whether he's a piece of this team and we can hold on to him, or we do get rid of him. But that's something to talk about at the end of this year.
And I think that's a good point. Don't rush off and sell a distressed asset. See if you can raise his value this second half of the year, And then the second thing, hey, look at us. We're talking about we have decent depth. Look at us. It's been a while. Now I'm comfortable putting in Aliyu or Bassi as a sub as opposed to Brad Smith. No disrespect. It's been a while since we've been here.
Very true, man. It's very true. Options. Ben has options, a lot of options, and I like it. So now maybe it'll be a question is like, who's actually going to start today and where? So something to act instead of being predictable 11.
Right.
Who knows? It's something to watch from week to week. Got 2 games this week, so very curious what he does this week.
Slow and steady, baby. Slow and steady.
Yeah, and going off what you said, Germán, I like what you said about, don't just go off and make a stupid decision with a distressed asset, because what if somebody like Philadelphia or, I don't know, another team that needs a striker comes in and asks for Sebas, you're going to be like, oh, wow, this is a godsend. But then they're asking us to cover, 3/4 of his salary for the next year or two. Then I don't want to make another trade like we did with Tim Parker to St. Louis, where we still paid $500,000 of his salary for 2 years. That I don't want the team to be set up for failure, or even worse, down the road.
I know San Diego just got a DP, but can they take another one in the expansion draft? I don't know if DPs are eligible to be in the expansion draft to begin with, but there's an option right there.
Yeah, you gotta call.
Sick,
that's
a nice winger with a good striker.
You gotta call Mazatlan and Liga MX, man. They like failed MLS DPs.
Yeah, I just think Mex in general.
My boy
They just
Sam,
take
he
anyone.
thinks Mazatlan, you know.
No, yeah, like just the sky's the limit, and yeah, just a lot of good problems to have, which is always good for Ben Olsen at least.
We like it, brother. We like it. So hey, let's preview what we got coming up. Like we said, RSL on the road on Wednesday night at 8:30 Central Time. I think it's 8:30 Central Time. It might be 7:30.
Very Mountain.
No, it's
Mountain.
Yeah, it's
8:30
Central Time. And then Saturday night back at home for another Sunday night back at home on 7:30 on Sunday back in Houston against LAFC. So that'll be
that national TV?
I'm not sure. It might be. It might be on Fox that night. So, man, two tough games coming up. Tony, how many points are we getting out of those two games?
Oh man, I've been going back and forth about this. Man, my nightmares tell me, man, my nightmares tell me we go into Salt Lake tired, into altitude, and we get rocked like 4-1 or something, and then but I don't want to go down that rabbit. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but
is RSL still mad at us from last year?
I'm gonna say we get I'm gonna go negative. We get 1 point. I'll leave. I'll be the negative one.
It's realistic, dude. It's realistic. Yeah. Andres, what are you thinking? How many points?
I'm gonna say 2 points.
2 games.
And that's my worst case scenario.
That's what you're saying?
I'm thinking 1 or 4. I'm leaning on 4.
Man, I'm hoping we still have RSL's number, and they just played too as well. But yeah, like you said, they're at home. We're comfortable playing in RSL. They are a good team, so hopefully we can steal the win right there. And LAFC is still LAFC, but we'll be back at home again. And defense is defense.
And I try not to be a homer, but yes, they are good teams. But so are we, and this is a chance to prove it. That's why I'm feeling the 4 points. I'd be a homer if I'm saying 6 with a straight face to you. But 4, I feel like realistic we can get that.
Yeah, I mean, get 3 in RSL, and then you come back home against LFC. You're feeling confident. You're feeling a lot better. Yeah, and they're top teams in the Western Conference, and you've played them before. You're familiar with them. You were competitive. You just played one in the Western Conference Finals not too long ago. So you went through whatever the tournament was in the beginning of the season. You failed an Open Cup, so you're getting the experience. You're getting everybody out there. Your players are playing. So,
like the dash, this would be a good. Okay, who are you? Test. These 2 games. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the character's still being defined, and it's to that point where you got to Leagues Cup is coming up. Now we can fix any kinks while we're playing in Leagues Cup, and then come back to the regular season and make sure we finish above the line, and maybe even top 4. That looks like that's a very genuine goal, top 4, so we can get that home game. That's especially through the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So 1, 2, 4.
Oh yeah, you want me too? I'm thinking 4. I think we're going to be able to get a win out of it, and then get a draw. I don't think we're going to come out with a loss unless there's another Mikel mistake.
I think it's the Austin air. We're weird.
Yeah.
Germán's only been here for like 24 hours, and he's already acting weird, man.
No, yeah, especially this has really nothing to do with it, but like League Cup's coming up, I was mostly just thinking about like the scenarios there, and like at least the windows of opportunities that Benitez is going to provide. Obviously, I feel like opponents is going to have like a big role in that tournament as well, and maybe like Sebas is going to be like more involved. But I don't know as a super sub or if he's going to start after the first couple games. But I was just thinking out loud.
Is anybody here mad at Coco? I'm not.
Mad at what? For the red card?
Yeah. For stopping Pulisic. Anybody care?
Nah, man. It's a game.
Yeah.
No, I saw everybody was freaking out on Twitter. Oh, you're talking about him. Dude, I can care less. Wow, that was a stupid foul on his end, but he didn't. Once he did it, he realized his mistake, and he took the shoulder from Pulisic too, and then that was the end of it. So yeah, whatever. I was like, maybe Panama was going to lose to USA, and he could know, hey, I'm out the next game. I might as well fly back to Houston and get him back on the
training. And like the worst take I've seen out of that red card was just like, that red card's gonna devalue his market value, and I'm like, dude, have you ever seen soccer? Like it's gonna it's just a game. Like that's not gonna do much. Like his ability to play games, like that's pretty much his value, and cards are gonna happen. And Coco was straight up like, I tried to apologize to Pulisic after that, and like it's just like went over his head. Obviously a red card, but at the same time, it's kind of like Coco's playing for his national team. He's gonna be fired up. That stuff can happen for sure.
Absolutely, man. So whatever, he can go. He's welcome back when he comes back. Maybe I'll meet him at the airport and cheer him on with the red cards.
Oh yeah, and Panama, like yeah, and whatever happens, if they're gonna go through or not, it's gonna be interesting. I hope they make it through, but if they don't, that's also good because he's gonna play back for us.
So, man, as we're recording, we did this before Dos played their game. They played tonight, later on this evening, while Fox is watching Venezuela. So that's why you don't get a Dos update in this episode. So you'll have to look forward to a basic recap in the next episode when we catch back up with Dos. But there was some interesting things that came out of the Kenny Bundy press conference that will need to be talked about. Germán posted some on Noodle Tempio, or one on Noodle Tempio, talking about expect something different from Donna Dos. So we'll be paying attention to see what that is, tactics, if it's a player or two, or what it really is, different attitudes. So look forward to next week's episode 101. We get into a little bit deep dive of Dos and see what the difference was that Kenny Bundy was talking about.
Yeah, and particularly that's the thing that I was looking forward to when it comes to Kenny Bundy and trying to adjust, because we discussed it in the last episode. There has to be some major changes to address, or like the halfway point of the season that we've already seen the team like lose too many games, lose too many opportunities to try to put the game away, and they're now last place in the conference. And it's definitely alleviating, or at least good to know that they know that there's an issue and they're gonna make it as many adjustments as they can, because the main goal of the team itself is the fact that they're there to develop players and not necessarily focus on getting as many wins as possible. And look, as long as the players are getting playing time to develop, that's great for the team. But on paper, you never like to see a team losing that many games. And yeah, we see this team like every week. They have so much talent, and it kind of sucks that they have to be in this position.
Right, and I think that's the challenge with MLS Next Pro. And I asked Bundy that question on Friday. Your main focus is to develop these cats. That's your main focus, your main priority. The fans and the players look at the results. How do you go about that? That's interesting, because for you, if he's developing, I don't care about the score, but players and fans, we care. And then he went on to correct me and said, I'm glad you think that of me, but I'm competitive. And that's when he told me, and I expect the change to be mental, but we'll see later tonight. Tough conversations in-house. He didn't go into specifics, but tough conversations individually with players. And he feels like there was a spark, a change in energy this week in training. And so we hope that develops into the field and hopefully in the result in the box score. So we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. What will Kenny Bundy do different? I mentioned last week in one of Juan's articles, I want to see Kenny Rain get free reins of the team. The development of the player, of the individual player, works, but you also got to develop as a team and play as a unified core. Otherwise, you're showing that you're just an individual talent and you don't fit. You fit particularly to a style, and this may not be that style because right now it's not working for Dos at all. So maybe you might see a different style come out with Kenny Bundy, but you never know. Is it going to be the mental part of the aspect of the game, or is it going to be tactical aspect? Will it be a formation? I'm very curious. I'll be watching along tonight and seeing what that big difference is, and then obviously we'll get to talk about it later on in the week in the next episode. And find out what it is and break it down and see if it worked.
No, yeah, and we'll definitely talk about in depth for Dynamo 2 next week when we get more time and after watching the game against Minnesota tonight. But yeah, I think it's probably time to leave since I have a kickoff to attend for Venezuela very soon, and pregame is gonna be insane. But just before we leave, Tony, just so like fans can just keep up. I know we talked about like what you're doing on Twitter and Discord and all that, but where can all Dynamo fans like follow your content or what you've been up to whenever you talk about Dynamo and stuff?
Yeah, man, just on Twitter, you can find me there at Rubio Soccer 35, or we're always chopping it up in the Discord for La Hinchada. So hit me or OSG or Andres or Germán or anyone up if y'all are ever interested in joining. That's a public Discord, I'm pretty sure. So you just need to get the link to join if you ever just want to chop it up in there. I have thought about maybe making a TikTok or something at one point and just discussing random Dynamo news. I haven't gotten the confidence to get around to doing that, but hey, if enough people say they would be interested in that, then I'd consider it more.
We'll make it happen, Tony. We'll talk off the air right here.
Oh yeah, guys. As always,
yeah.
As always, for everyone listening and watching live, we appreciate your support for getting us to the 100th episode. All the feedback like we've gathered over time has been valuable, and we're always looking to improve. And just for the next 100 episodes, like 200, 300 episodes, 1,000 episodes, it's gonna be insane, man. But just keep looking out for that content. As always, whenever we publish it, let it be YouTube, Ghost TV, whatever you listen to your podcast, and of course our blog at kofi.com/Dynamic Foxtrot. No, man, it's gonna be a million more episodes, man. It's gonna be insane. Yeah.
Germán and me and Surge University, we're taking over downtown Austin right now. Letting y'all know who's here. We're at Auditorium Shores. If you listen to this soon enough, but Surge University staying high from downtown Austin. This was fun. Episode 100. I know Germán had a good time. So guys, appreciate y'all following and supporting and listening and spotting us out in the stadiums when we're walking around. So looking forward to doing more of it. And y'all say hello, and we'll get some fan reactions of y'all at the stadium, man. And I know Germán's got something nice to say on our way out as well. But brothers, H is up from A-Town.
Yeah, beautiful out here, downtown Austin. The Dynamo is up. The Dynamo's on the trend upward. Hopefully the Dash, they're growing. They're growing, and then we'll hopefully be there. We'll be there soon with the Dash as well. Tony, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Like I said, I look forward, and I love following you on social media. You always keep me on my toes with Dynamo reporting. And thank you for joining us today, buddy. Andres, un abrazo. Best of luck to Venezuela tonight. I saw the team bus yesterday out here on I-35, so they're ready, man. Yeah. They're ready.
No, man, it's real. And no, just one more time, just to thank Tony for joining us in this special episode. And just one more time, thank you guys for tuning in and for checking our content. And as always, guys, stay noodle.
Thank you, guys.